Imagine this. The most expensive ballroom in the city, crystal chandeliers, 1,000 people in black tie, and right in the middle, my own brother points at me and screams, loud enough for the entire room to hear, "Get on your knees and clean that up, janitor." The scotch is dripping from his $8,000 tuxedo. Everyone is staring. My parents are laughing. And 30 seconds later, the CEO of the entire company drops to one knee in front of me and calls me sir. This is the exact moment the family that threw me away realized they had been living in a house I secretly owned for 7 years. Keep watching until the end, because what happened to my brother 6 months later is the sweetest part. To understand how I ended up holding all the cards that night, you have to go back to when I was 19. I was never the golden child. That title belonged to Richard. Perfect grades, perfect smile, perfect lies. I was the quiet one who spent nights in the basement writing code instead of going to parties. At 21, I built something revolutionary, an encryption engine that could predict cyber attacks before they happened. I called it Aegis. Experts told me it was worth billions. But I knew the second I put my real name on it, the sharks would tear me apart. So I did something crazy. I created a shell company. I hired David Sterling, the most charismatic man I'd ever met, to be the public face and CEO. I buried my name 8 layers deep in corporate filings. I became the silent partner and eventually the majority shareholder. When Ethelgard Technologies went public and hit a $42 billion valuation, I could have bought islands. Instead, I did something no one understood. I took the night janitor job at our own headquarters, because at 3 a.m., when the building is empty, I have access to every server room, every office, every trash can. I see who really works. I see who steals. And I saw exactly what kind of person my brother became the day he was hired. 2 years ago, Richard walked into Ethelgard like he owned the place. He had no idea the loser brother he mocked at every family dinner was the reason the company even existed. I watched him scream at receptionists until they cried. I found the fake receipts he submitted, $180 lunches that were actually McDonald's. I read the emails where he took credit for deals. My algorithms closed. I kept a file, a very thick file. Tonight was the company Christmas Gala. My mother forced Richard to invite me for the family photo. In the car, he laid down the rules. Don't talk to anyone important. Don't tell them what you do. Stay in the corner and pretend you're invisible. I wore the same grey suit I wear to clean toilet. I stood by the coat check holding lukewarm water while Richard held court with executives. Then he saw me. He marched over, grabbed my arm hard enough to bruise and hissed, "You look like a homeless person. Go get me a scotch from the VIP bar. And make yourself useful for once." As I walked away, he announced to a group of vice presidents, "That's my brother. Still pushes a broom at 32. Some people just refuse to evolve." The laughter cut deeper than any knife. I came back with the Macallan 25. Richard saw his chance for a public execution. The second I extended the glass, he deliberately slapped it out of my hand. Scotch exploded across his shirt and the marble floor. He screamed, "You did that on purpose, you clumsy idiot." My mother rushed in, dabbing his shirt, apologizing to everyone. "I'm so sorry, he's always been slow." Then Richard pointed at the puddle. "Clean it up. On your knees. Do your job, janitor. Show the CEO why we keep trash like you around." My father nodded. "Listen to your brother for once in your life." 200 people formed a circle. Phones came out. Richard folded his arms, smirking, waiting for me to break. I didn't move. I reached into my pocket and pulled out a matte black card with a single gold chip, the skeleton key. Only one exists. I tapped it slowly against my thigh. Click, click, click. The sound echoed in the dead silent ballroom. I looked at David Sterling standing 10 feet away. His face went white. He started walking toward us. Fast. Richard laughed. What is that, your bus pass? Security. Get this lunatic out of. David reached us. He didn't look at Richard. He looked only at me. He stopped 2 feet away and bowed, deep, from the waist. Then he straightened and said, loud enough for the entire room, "Good evening, sir. I'm so sorry to interrupt your evening." My mother blinked. "Excuse me, that's my son, the janitor." David never took his eyes off me. "Ma'am, your son is the founder, chairman and majority shareholder of Ethelgard Technologies. He quite literally owns this building, this company, and every penny in it. You need to picture their faces." Richard's mouth opened and stayed open. No sound came out. My mother's champagne glass slipped from her fingers and shattered. My father aged 10 years in 3 seconds. Richard finally found his voice, a pathetic squeak. This is a joke, right?" I stepped forward until we were inches apart. I spoke softly so only the circle heard at first, then louder. "For 2 years I've watched you bully staff, steal money and take credit for my work. I kept you employed because you're blood. Tonight you crossed the last line." I turned to David. "Revoke Richard's credentials. Freeze his accounts. Full forensic audit by morning. If even 1 cent is missing, hand it to the FBI yourself." David was already typing. "Yes, sir. Done." Richard dropped to his knees, not to clean but because his legs failed. He grabbed my pants. "Please, we're family." I didn't know. I looked down at him. Family doesn't order family to crawl on the floor in front of 500 people. Security. My security appeared from the shadows. 2 agents in $10,000 suits lifted Richard by the armpits. He was sobbing, snot running down his chin, tuxedo soaked in scotch and shame. My mother started screaming. "You can't do this to your own brother." I looked at her. "I just did." My father tried one last power play. "Son, think about what you're doing. That's your little brother." I signaled the guards. "Escort all 3 of them out. Persona non grata list, worldwide. Permanent." As they were dragged away, Richard wailing, mother shrieking, father silent and broken, something beautiful happened. 1 person started clapping, then 10, then the entire ballroom. Slow, steady, thunderous applause. Not for me, for justice. 6 months later, I still take the night shift twice a week. The servers hum the same. The building still smells of lemon polish at 3 a.m. Richard's indictment hits the papers next month. $3.4 million embezzled. He sold the Porsche, the watch collection, and finally the house. Last week he applied for a night custodian position at one of our subsidiary offices. HR sent me the resume. I wrote a single line on it and sent it back. Candidate ordered previous employees to clean floors on their knees. Declined. My parents tried to visit the lobby 17 times. Security has standing orders. David now personally ensures every member of the custodial staff receives a Christmas bonus, larger than Richard's old salary, and an invitation to the gala as VIP guests. Some nights, when the building is empty, I still push the mop myself, because I learned something they never did. Real power doesn't scream. It doesn't need a $10,000 tuxedo. It just waits, quietly, until the perfect moment. And when that moment comes, it doesn't say a word. It just watches them clean up their own mess. If you've ever been the invisible one in your family, drop the word clean in the comments right now. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. New story every single day. I'll see you tomorrow for another dose of Karma's Last Laugh.